Hey Chad!
Hello, welcome Megan.
So how did you and Katie come up with this concept?
Well, our last home that we built was a post and beam in wooded setting. And when we found this property with the water, we went, it deserves a modern home with lots of glass on the water side. And that's how we ended up choosing this property and choosing to build a modern home. We found our architect in Dwell magazine, which is a modern home magazine. They was a contest that they had for different modern home designers, and a group called Turkel Design out of Boston, who were actually a couple of Canadians, decided to enter all these design competitions, and they had these beautiful modern homes. We found one that was very similar to this that they had built in just outside New York City. Went to visit it. It fit the property perfectly because it's an odd property. We went and looked at it, had a lot of things that we didn't like about it, like the ceilings were 12 feet high. These ceilings are 22 feet high. And the dimensions weren't exactly right, so we worked with the Turkel and had it modified to what we wanted it to be. So our last house had a kitchen that was somewhat separated from our dining room and our living room, and every party we had, and we entertained a fair bit, always ended up in the kitchen. So we decided in this house we wanted full open concept with the high ceilings in the kitchen and the living room, and then to make it more intimate, lower ceilings in the dining room, but fully engageable through both the kitchen and the living room. That was Pure Later delivering our Nespresso. So we were at a spring garden show in Toronto, and there was a fellow there that was selling these screens called Dream Screens Canada, and they're from Oakville, family-owned business. And we went, and we were a little worried about screens with a dog. He said, we have a big St. Bernard, and he threw himself against the screens and they popped out and pushed the button, went up, came back down again, and they were fantastic. So we got them to come up and build them up here for us. We wanted our living room or our dining room to extend into our screen-in porch so that we could extend parties out here. And these screens pop up. So a lot of parties we have, these doors are wide open, the screens are up, and it flows into the pool and out into the bay. So the original concept for the stairs in this house was a wall right here with stairs going up to the top. When we looked at it, we said, no, we want floating stairs, and our architect said, well, we don't design stairs. So our stairs originally, the architects had them designed going up here to a landing and returning going up to the top. With a wall here, we said we wanted stairs that were open concept. They said, you know, that's gonna happen with them is there'll be dust underneath them. But we worked with our builders, the Absolute Craftsman Group, and father and daughter team, Christine and Dave Harrington. And Christine said, let's make the stairs go up, turn right, and go to the top. And then we came up with a concept to weld treads onto a steel plate in the wall, and then slide the wooden treads over top of it. And then we had a company that did a great job of the glass, Barber glass, and installed it, and we lit underneath the treads so that at night it's lit up going down the stairs. So one of the things our builders suggested before we ordered the windows for the building was that we frame it all in and make sure that we had all the right dimensions before we ordered them. From the outside of the house is what you look at when you're working with the architects, more so than from the inside of the house. There's a blank space in between the windows, so we actually recut the windows and dropped them down another 2.5 feet, and then ordered the windows, which gave us a much better outlook out over the bay, because that's what we really want to see. So we had leftover flooring from the build, and when we looked at it, and flooring's expensive, and we went, what will we do with that leftover flooring? And so we came up with a concept, drew up the bed using the flooring, and we actually, both of us, lay on the ground looking at what height we wanted it to be. Carpenter took the flooring, and next morning I think he started in the morning, and by noon he had a bed built for us out of leftover flooring. There wasn't anything wasted. So in a modern home, we really wanted indirect lighting. Our builder, Dave Harrington, came up with this concept of making channels to go on the glulam beams and putting LED strips in there. The only hard part about all of that was that we would end up having to wire without knowing whether it was going to light up the house properly. So he actually did a mock-up in one of the bedrooms and proved that it would work for us. But even with that, we still wired parts of the house so that if it didn't work, we still could figure out how to put other lighting in the facility. So one of the challenging parts of a sloped ceiling is where the blinds come from, especially with glulam beams. So we spent a bunch of time trying to figure out how to make the blinds work in this house without making them too obvious. Our builder came up with a concept to put a valance over the blinds that match the glulam beams. And then when they come down, you don't see them, and they actually horizontal and not at the slant, which would have made them very difficult to work if they were on the same angle as the slope of the roof.
Thank you so much, Ted, for the wonderful tour of your home.
Well, you're very welcome, Megan. I'm glad you could join us, and look forward to you coming back. Thank you.